But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, the two countries most at risk in the region are not being brought into the fold, be it NATO or the EU in any way. In fact, we've seen Bosnia and Herzegovina are being leapfrogged by Ukraine and Moldova. They're going to have another slap in the face in December when accession negotiations are probably going to open, you know, and yet these are the countries which need it. I'm not going to say more than Ukraine, which needs it as well, but if you're serious about risks in the region, you have to give something to these countries, more than is being given just now, the same platitudes, the same, you know, you'll get there eventually. I don't understand why they're being sort of left out in the cold when people are very aware that they are the most at risk and who need to be part of these institutions for their own safety and that of the region. And I want to talk about NATO and EU membership. So at the same NATO ministerial, Stoltenberg said that NATO will do what is necessary to ensure stability in the region, as this is important for the whole of Europe. Baerbock added that the EU accession of Western Balkan countries is very important as it represents vital security. Yet, as I said, we have the two countries which, by these diplomats' admission, are not even 1 foot on the ladder of accession, which is just crazy. So Kosovo applied in December 2022 for EU membership. Do you know, I mean, I've heard very little about it since sort of the beginning of last year. Do you know anything? Where are we? What's happening with this?
No, I don't think there's been any progress towards it. Kosovo has been focused on the Council of Europe membership, and I think that has been a promise that was made within the dialogue context as well, that the West will help Kosovo get into the Council of Europe if it works on the implementation of the basic agreement reached in Brussels and annexed in the Ohrid as well. So I haven't seen any dynamic towards this agenda. Unfortunately, it has been left in the dark, and also the European leaders haven't provided any perspective or haven't used this leverage as a transformational tool for both Kosovo and Serbia. Now, Serbia is using this dialogue, the open-ended dialogue, undefined dialogue with Kosovo, to leverage or to maximize its integration perspective with minimal effort. So they do a little concession in dialogue and they make a giant step in opening accession chapters.
But then Vucic goes home to Belgrade and
Definitely,
says the opposite.
Yes. However, in Kosovo, the European perspective has been reduced only to the visa liberalization, which was a saga, unstoppable, you know, it never-ended saga. So let's hope that we will have in January this implemented, and the people of Kosovo, especially the youth and students, will have this opportunity to travel and come back and go study and see and do business.
Despite what Macron said.
Despite what Macron said, yeah, definitely. But unfortunately, we haven't seen a clear perspective on what the European leverage should be. Unfortunately, this has given ground to Serbia to ask to get something from Kosovo in order to sign an agreement. However, the EU should give something, a leverage to both countries so that they don't get into trying to minimize each other's sovereignty, minimize each other's territorial integrity, and so on and so forth. So they should look towards the EU, but the EU should provide that perspective.
Of course.